Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Shiny, SSP, Spar, or Violet. However, throughout this video, I will be referred to as Violet. So, I just had the weirdest experience ever recently, and I figured I'd make it a story time because, y'all, this is wild. So, sit back, settle in with your drinks and snacks, and get ready for the tea. Recently, me and my old friend were having a bit of an online argument, which became public, and as we were in the middle of this random person pipes in. Who are you? I'm Chaos. Okay. At first, they were asking questions about what was going on, but I assume at some point they must have looked at my art profile on TikTok and started asking me about how to get painting from me. I tell them to message me and I will let them know just as soon as I could. When I did eventually check their messages, their first message was really sweet, saying, "Your art is really something. As someone who struggles with mental health, you're an inspiration." I obviously thanked them because I was brought up with manners, and they asked about pricing, and I stated it depended on if they wanted a new painting or one that was already made. They asked, "What's cheaper? I'm a young carer, so I'm trying to stick to a budget." Heart emoji. The heart emoji was a choice. I mean, hey, I ain't gonna judge how someone texts. Everyone does it differently, but after what happens later on, wild. I asked their price range because as someone who is currently living through the cost of living crisis in the UK, who is out of work and trying to find a job in this godforsaken job market that never actually sends a reply when you apply, I could understand the struggle. Let me know your rates and I can work around them. I don't want to lowball your work, honey. Small businesses matter, heart emoji. Again with the heart, and this time the pet name. I am not a person who likes pet names by strangers. Heck, I barely handle it from my family and my partner, who I've been with coming up to nearly 5 years. So, okay, but I don't want to voice it because they, potential client. So I give my lowest offer I could possibly give, while being sympathetic, which was £55, €63 and $73. And that was an extremely discounted price. Because while you've only seen my stick figure, my other paintings, especially my traditional ones, are of a lot higher quality. Heck, my shiny paints alone are £76, and that's just the subscription set I get. In total, I have paints, brushes, varnishes, inks, pens, pencils, and all sorts that equal over £3,000, which is over $4,000, and it's gone up since I last counted. Not to mention the hours spent on a painting, especially commissions. So they replied and said they'd have to save up as they're a carer and, quote, "Hope you don't hold it against me, darling." I mean, okay, totally understandable about needing to be a carer and having to save money, but more pet names and heart emojis. Ugh. So I leave it there for the night and go to bed, and the next day I'm on one of my alt accounts and I see the friend I'm having the dispute with has made a new post. It was a screenshot of a message that had my name attached to it. What? Why was my name attached? It was from Chaos, and they had said that me and Chaos didn't need drama, and if they continued, they would dox their bank details. What the heck? I immediately switched to my main profile and jump on call with people who knew what was going on, and I'm panicking. Why? Why would they implicate me in this? I didn't ask them to message them. In fact, I stated very clearly on live, don't do it. Also, I'm extremely against doxing, so mentioning my name implies I support it. I quickly messaged Chaos, hardly noticing that they had sent me a message that I hadn't seen that said that they were going to do something, and I say, "Why are you doing this? I understand they were trying to defend me, but I don't endorse this." Their response? I just want her to leave you alone. But how did you find out? But I'm sorry, just wanted to be a friend, heart emoji. Be a friend? A friend wouldn't go to a person you're having issues with right now and say they are going to dox their bank details and imply you're involved? I mention how this will only make it worse, and I need to set this straight because I am not in this. At that point, I was extremely anxious and I was just about to go live to make it more known so that the person I actually had issues with would know that I didn't support it when they reached out to me and we got into a phone call. After that call, which actually ended with us having peaceful terms, I was feeling extremely unwell. The high anxiety through it all and not eating or drinking for several hours had given me a fever, so I made some soup and I went to bed. Then, in the middle of the night, I woke up and rushed to the bathroom as I did not feel well. I had to take several deep breaths and calm myself so I didn't lose my stomach contents. I eventually went back to my room, but I was so nervous that I was going to be sick, I decided to sit in my chair in front of my fan until I felt okay. Which didn't work for several hours because my headache made it all feel worse. But eventually, exhaustion kicked in and I went back into bed. Cut to late that evening, almost midnight, when I get a message from Chaos saying, "Why did you unfollow me? What the heck? I was supporting you and I was saving up to buy some art." Now, I had unfollowed them because the doxing threats and the high anxiety that followed it became very uncomfortable for me. I didn't know this person, and they had made it look and sound as if I supported doxing and had been their friend forever. No. So I took a step back and gave some distance between us. They gave a really long response. Yeah, no, I don't see how me threatening to dox as a joke is the same as you going head-to-head on social media, because cyberbullying is just as serious when it comes to the law. Nice to see where you stand. I always supported you and was saving to buy your work as a young carer. Won't be doing that anymore. 55 was unrealistic to begin with and felt kind of classist and tone deaf for you to say. 55 is 2 weeks worth of food for us, so I really can't. Thanks for nothing, I guess. Sorry for caring. I'm sorry, what? First off, doxing isn't a joke, and yes, cyberbullying is serious, but you are not a court of law, so taking things into your own hands was, in my eyes, stupid and reckless. You not only screwed things up for yourself, but pulled me into it. Also, quote, always supported me. Chaos, I've known you for less than 3 days. Saying £55 is classist? The minimum I usually charge is £100. I'm being paid for my work, which I've been developing since I was 16. You also said not to lowball you, and I did it anyways because I'm also in the poor class, so I sympathized with you. Also tone deaf? Wow, no way. It's not like I'm autistic or anything and struggle to identify tone through text. So I explain this in a nicer way, and towards the end I state, I value my work, but I value my comfortability and mental health more. You took it a step too far and hurt it, so I unfollowed you to create some distance. But the way you have responded has in fact confidently shown me that you are not the type of customer I'd want. I wouldn't want to waste precious supplies or time and give one of my paintings to someone who cannot see the harm they caused for a, quote, joke. Oof, did they get mad at me for this? But to sum it up, chaos spiraled. Okay, Violet. Don't know why the big need for caps, but okay. Let me get one thing very clear, you absolute freak. Do not ever speak to me in that condescending tone again. 0 applause, B. You sit on live for 14 hours a day, painting absolute mediocrity and charging £50 like it's a masterpiece. Let's not pretend you did me a favour, you're not Picasso. You're just a loudmouth with a glitter pen and too much time on your hands. The fact you assumed I'd be grateful for a discount when your work is barely Etsy level is laughable. You're probably the same type to say you can't work and can't leave the house, but can sit online all day and chase compliments. Also, don't bring mental health into this like it's some Uno reverse card. You made things messy, overreacted, then tried to spin a sob story, because you didn't like being called out. I'm not the one. Okay, let's dissect this one before I go through her massive paragraph. Chaos, are you okay? Like, I don't know how I'm a freak, but okay. Also, if you find the truth condescending, that's a choice. Also, I sat on live once for 14 hours. I can't do that on a daily or a weekly because that would be exhausting as heck. And I never claimed my work to be masterpieces or on the level of Picasso. I'd sure like them to be one day, but I charged a fair price for the quality you would receive, especially since others have brought my work for over £100 before, and even when one customer had money issues, I waited weeks to months for the full deposit before I sent it, as I was not unreasonable. Which is one of my best works to this day. Also, glitter pens are actually one of the few supplies I don't use. Funny. I didn't expect you to be grateful for a discount. I wasn't even planning to tell you until you made the situation so uncomfortable I had to explain it. And no, I can work. I have worked before. I do struggle keeping a job though and finding them, but I do try. But thank you for throwing the stereotype out there and assuming that, which makes sense since, again, I don't know you and you don't know me. I also didn't bring mental health in as a Uno reverse card. I stated very clearly your actions caused me to have high anxiety, so severe it made me physically sick, because police reports were mentioned, and my name was implicated because of you. This hurt my mental health, and I am putting it before my artwork and my financial needs because it is more important. I don't know how I made it messy when all I did was unfollow, but okay. Chaos's next response. Also, let me make one thing clear. If you keep running your mouth attaching false allegations to my name, then I will be taking legal action. You think you're untouchable and play the mentally ill victim, but what you actually did was try to emotionally manipulate and groom a young carer and vulnerable person. Trust me, that's not something that will go unnoticed in court. So keep pushing and I will go there. You act so bold online, but you'd never speak to me like this in real life. You're not intimidating, you're not above anyone, you're just another jobless wannabe who wants to get brave behind a screen and thinks passive-aggressive paragraphs equal power. Now do yourself a favour and stop mentioning me entirely before this gets taken further. Girl. What? First of, what allegations? Second, how on earth did I groom you? And I wouldn't want to, even if I didn't have a partner. I did not give you pet names or send heart emojis or anything of the like. My first 3 messages before talking about the doxing was about painting, your price, how low I could go. Heck, if that's grooming, every artist in the world would be one. I'm also just being firm and honest, as I don't want you as a customer. I didn't like how you responded, and the actions that were done caused me unrest and physical sickness due to high anxiety. The fact you treated someone with disabilities and chronic illness like this when you've established you're a carer is concerning, to say the least. I also state how I am applying for jobs and don't go live all the time. Good night and goodbye. Oh boy, the long story I got from that reply. Here we go. Oh Violet, you're rattled and it shows. Now you suddenly have no idea what I'm talking about? Cute. Don't play dumb, just because the word grooming made your soul jump. This was very odd phrasing, but anyways. You know full well what you were doing when you tried to emotionally manipulate someone younger and vulnerable. Flip the script the moment it didn't go your way. Don't insult my intelligence. Also, stop pretending to be firm when you're being passive-aggressive, patronizing and dishonest, accusing me to be a danger to disabled people. You weren't just expressing discomfort, you spiraled, tried to be a martyr yourself, and threw jabs while hiding behind your so-called chronic illness as a shield. If you're going to dish it, learn how to take it, and don't gaslight. You absolutely did imply I was dangerous. It's written right there. You can't accuse someone of making you physically ill and then act like you didn't blame them or retract it. Don't squirm between. It's giving damage control and it's too late. You said goodnight and goodbye like you were dropping the mic, but really you just walked off stage mid-performance because you couldn't handle the heat. Stay gone. Okay, so clearly nothing I was saying was getting through this person's head. I wasn't rattled. I spoke in very clear and plain English that I have no idea how I've groomed someone I don't know within 3 messages prior to talking about the doxing. Also, how is telling the truth about what happened to me now emotionally manipulative? I also didn't know they were younger than me, but now, this response sounds like a child's in my eyes, so it's given a little bit more clarity. Because I had assumed since they mentioned having kids, they were older than me. I wasn't dishonest once. I genuinely find it concerning that a carer would behave this way to someone with conditions, but that's just my opinion. I didn't outright claim, "You're a danger, squaw!" Was it passive-aggressive? Possibly. I tried being nice in the literal beginning, but apparently me saying, quote, "Don't take this the wrong way, but after you threatened to dox someone and mentioned my name, even though it's been made clear I'm not involved, it made me highly uncomfortable and looked like I supported it. All because I unfollowed you." Also, no, I definitely would say this to you in person. I'd probably get punched in the face for it, but I don't hide what I feel. If you make me uncomfortable, I'm going to distance myself. I don't know how that's a spiral since, again, I wasn't planning to mention this at all. Also, quote, "so-called chronic illnesses." Are you implying I don't have any? Because I got my diagnosis for autism in late 2022. I've had x-rays to determine I have flat feet, which cause problems with me standing and walking. I've had hypothyroidism since birth and take levothyroxine tablets every day of my life, which I also have to have regular blood tests for to make sure it's within check since I've had it since birth, and it can cause several things such as weight gain, hair loss, impacted hearing, dry skin, depression, loss of memory, lack of appetite, body temperature irregulation, and much more. I also have IBS. You don't know me. Even with my conditions, I work hard on what I do and try the best I can, but okay, go off, queen, since you seem to know best. I wasn't dropping the mic. I was attempting to end the conversation because, again, nothing productive was coming from it. But, alas, after a little while, I sent my final message. I recommend seeking help or therapy. This was wild. If you reach out again, I'll file for harassment. Goodbye, blocked. And I blocked Chaos. Was that last message petty? Yeah, probably, but I ain't having it. I have never had such a wild encounter before with someone random on the internet who could have been a possible client. And frankly, I'm so glad they showed themselves to be like that, because if that's how you respond to someone silently unfollowing you after you made doxing threats as a quote joke and implicated them in it, there is no way I'd want you to be sent one of my paintings. I have pride in my work as a small business, an artist, a disabled femme-presenting person who struggles, and what's important to me is my art finds a place it will be admired for the efforts, dedication, and time poured into it. I'd love to be a full-time work-from-home artist one day where it pays for me to live comfortably and I can do my animations and my gaming. I hope, though, I never have an interaction like this again because what the heck. I know I'm only 23 and I still have maturing to do, but I'd never get so upset over someone unfollowing me. So whatever has upset or hurt this person Chaos, I hope they find the help and the peace I think they desperately need. And if, by chance, somehow this video has found its way to Chaos, please, for your own sanity, don't attempt to respond. It doesn't look good already, and while I personally don't like you or want anything to do with you, other people will, so go bother yourself with them. Don't bother me, go hang out with them, go talk to them. They'll keep you interested, they'll be your friend. I'm good. But anyways, that was insane. I hope you all enjoyed the story time. If you wouldn't mind giving me a subscribe or a comment, that would do wonders. We also have a Discord community, and I have a Patreon if you'd like to support an artist. Also, a very quick announcement. I think you've all noticed the lack of streams posted recently. Unfortunately, due to gas and electric bills rising, I've had to cut down on my use of electric, so I've been focusing more on my arts. But I'm hoping to have another stream again soon. I was planning to have one on the 22nd of August, very specifically because Dying Light the Beast was supposed to be released, but it's been pushed back another month. So I don't actually know when the next stream will be, but we'll figure it out. If you're interested in a commission, don't feel shy, join the Discord or message me on my socials and I will get to you ASAP. I'm quickly going off script, but it's just come across my mind as I'm recording this. But is this a typical response, throwing out allegations of grooming when someone unfollows you? Is this normal? Because I'm genuinely starting to worry if this is what life has come to when it comes to the internet and younger people. If this isn't typical and I've just had a really bizarre encounter, please let me know so that I can be like, oh, okay, sweet. But anyways, for now, good night and good luck. Hey you, yes you, I know you were just about to finish the video, but hold on just for a few more minutes because I have some important updates for you. Hi, it's been a while, and by a while I mean it's been months since I recorded the majority of this video. I recorded the majority of it a week before the events with Chaos. Yeah, it's been a while. Well, the reason for that is, if you haven't been in my Discord, you wouldn't know because I haven't been posting about it. But the short, sweet, simple version is, my health took a very big decline and I had to take a step back from content creation. I was still doing stuff on the side, but I had to take a step back from this video. I'm not feeling 100%, but I'm doing better. I'm still working on it, as everyone usually is with their health. And yeah, there were multiple times I thought about deleting this video, to be honest with you. I'm off script, by the way. Multiple times I thought about deleting this because I had a lot of worries and doubts about this video. I thought people aren't going to like me, they're going to hate this, it's been months now, it's going to be seen as an attack, even though I've kept the person identity hidden. They might come out and say it's against them, it might be seen as call out, it might be seen as drama. But yeah, the video was 3/4 of the way done, and I figured I might as well finish it. I'm not going to be making content like this a lot. This is like very rare. But the reason why I have made this video is because it's a story time. It's content. I'm not going to, lie and say it isn't, because it is. It's bizarre, it's odd, it's an experience I had. Most content story times, it's not going to be like this. It's going to be more stories like personal to me so that you get to know me more. But yeah. But I wanted to make this video because I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to hear other people's opinions. I wanted to hear what they had to say. I wanted to get advice if there was any advice for if a situation like this happens again. If, this is part of the internet now and it's become normalized, because I haven't seen it anywhere else. But hey, I don't know. Maybe I'm just in a very odd part of the internet. But anyways, so I have made this video, as you're currently watching, but I also have an update for my next video coming out. In fact, my next 3 videos, because I know what I'm actually going to do for those videos. So, if you haven't watched any of my previous videos with the animation kind of look, you've only seen the live streams, just short version. I had a Nuzlocke that I was drawing that I had to put in hiatus for certain reasons that I'm not going to disclose. But I can officially announce that it is not in hiatus anymore. However, it's also not going to be the Nuzlocke that I post first. The Nuzlocke that I post first is currently one of 3 Nuzlockes that I'm doing right this moment. I'm doing 3 Nuzlocks, and I'm going to do those 3 before I do the one that was in hiatus. And there's a couple of reasons for this. The one that was in hiatus, I had to make some significant changes to, so it's going to be quite different from what it was going to be when I was going to post it. And that's going to take a little bit of time. So I'd rather do the 3 that I'm working on now and post them, especially because I think they're more my style than the one that I had worked on before. So yeah. And the 3 that I'm currently doing, I'm going to do them all at the same time so that they all come out hopefully relatively quickly from each other. So yeah, that's happening. Aside from that, streams, as I've already stated in my streams, if you haven't watched them, streams are going to be quite far apart now because, as you already know, gas and electric. So yeah. But we did do our Dying Light streams, so, and we have our birthday stream coming up on October 15th. Well, the stream will be October 16th, so if you'd like to join us, please join us at VioletXRose1235 on Twitch for the best streaming experience. We have a Discord where you can get updates and you can chat with us. We have a couple of new members recently. We're having fun. We're talking about art. We're loving it. I also have a Patreon. All my social links will be down below. Please check them out. Please, 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 please comment, like, share, all the good stuff. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. So yeah. Thank you for listening to the updates. I know it wasn't huge, but it does mean a lot to me that you did listen because, yeah, I thought a lot about this. And I've been sitting on it for a while. So, yeah. But thank you, and I will see you all in the Nuzlocke to come. Good night, and good luck. Ending the video in 1, 2, 3, 5.